before you. So.
Welcome everyone, glad that you join us today with our first webinar from Empowered by 3x3. And we are just improvising as we always do, so you're part of that too now. So this is our first webinar in a series of 6, in which we share with you the insights and the lessons learned we have in our EU co-funded project, Empowered by 3x3, in which we bring the power to use 3x3 as a tool for social change to different cities, Copenhagen, Düsseldorf, and The Hague. We're doing this project with our partners from the Sports University of Cologne, with 3x3 Academy Düsseldorf, and our partner from Streetball Copenhagen. We are very glad to share all of this with you today. Today we're going to focus on the lessons learned in the scaling up process. And for this, I'm very happy to have our guests here, Matvidas and Emre, to discuss their experience so far in the project. We are running since last year, January, and we will finish this summer. So we have done already quite a lot and gained some insights we are glad to share with you, and hope it can be an inspiration for things you're already doing or that you maybe want to be doing to have more impact from the sport for the social side. So feel very welcome. The next webinars will be also on pure skills of 3x3. It will be also about how to facilitate urban sports in a more broad manner, and we will share again more insights about the whole process of scaling up. But today is the focus on the lessons learned in our nice dialogue. So first, I would like to tell you a little bit about our organization, 3x3 Unites. My name is Max Sellering. I lead all our international project and am the project manager for this project. So let me first tell you a little about who we are as 3x3 Unites and what's the whole idea about the project. Isa, are we seeing the presentation already? Okay. So it all started actually in 2016 when one of our founders, Jasper Jobse, he was then the captain of the national team in the Netherlands. He really experienced the power of 3x3 for himself. He really saw, how much he got in charge of all the processes around it and how much that's in the DNA of 3x3. So you are on this court and you're responsible in the team for your success, to coaching each other. There's no coach. You do it with each other. It's very intense. You have to take on different roles and you have no excuses. You cannot hide. You have no excuses. And he really saw what it did to him. He really felt in charge at the moment, and he wanted to have other young people experience the same empowerment actually by 3x3. So he saw the whole potential of the DNA, the community aspect, the empowerment aspect, also the intensity and how to attract people and how it meets the interest of young people. And he wanted to use it more to create continuous opportunities for young people. So this is why also what we are dedicated to is we really believe in that the big changes come from embracing the small things. So we really always try to, how can we build possibilities for young people so that they are in the lead, they are owning, and we facilitate them. So that's also why the whole project is called Empowered by 3x3. Isa? And I would like to show it to you with showing you a little bit. So this is Jasper, you see now. I want to show you our ecosystem because this is central in what we are doing as 3x3 Unites and how we approach it. So you see, I forgot to tell you a little bit more so that you get an idea who we are. We started in 2016 with only 2 people, Mark and Jasper, and now we are active on so many courts. We are active with more than 350 3x3 leaders who are running courses for us all over the country. We have a team of nearly 60 people now, and we have 14 people that are active as instructors for educating our leaders. And we are on 4 continents. We have run different projects. So we are, it really boomed and it really grew. And it's all, from our vision that we came to this part. So what we actually do is the core of what we do is the 3x3 Leader Program. You can skip that one. The core is the 3x3 Leader Program, where we educate within 8 weeks young people to become leaders in their neighborhood. So we take 3x3 as a tool to develop skills they need in the rest of their lives, like community, like presentations, like becoming a role model. And then they run activities in their neighborhoods. And that's how it is sustainable, because it's not somebody flying in from somewhere telling people what to do and then being gone again. No, it's the young people having an impact in their neighborhood where they dedicated to, where they know all the needs locally, and where they are also the other young people see how they step up their game, you know? So this is the core of what we do. And we have a whole ecosystem, we call, and when we, in the whole process of scaling up to different locations, we also apply the same principle. We say the local organizations have the local expertise and we adapt to them, but we see, okay, which elements are there. And we always call that establishing the local ecosystem there. We do that in all places, but also with our organizational partners. So the ecosystem just means that we have, from the grassroots to really the world stage, we have the different levels covered in events, but also organizational wise. So we have so many activities running on grassroots level, but we also map the whole thing up to the world stage. So we now hosted for the second time the world tour last year, and we will continue to do that. And of course, it's great to have the highest level of events, but it's not our driver. We take it to be able to give the perspective to young people. So we want them to experience this kind of event, and we use it to have an impact socially, so that they can advance in their talents to their possibilities. May that be in social media, or may that be in hosting other people, or may that be as a player even, because you can play with us grassroots. We established the whole league to qualify as the qualifying team for the world tour. So you can begin in your backyard and you can end up at the world stage. So we have the courts, we have the tours, and it's all just to have young people following their passion and giving them the possibility to take on a project like this webinar. It is based on the podcast we have, and this is actually developed by young people from our organization that said we need a podcast, and then they took care of it and we facilitate them in it. So this is why we can now have a webinar, because young people had this idea. And I look at Isa running the whole webinar. He's one of our first leaders, and he's in charge for our content creation. And yeah, he just has his passion in it, and we helped him take the opportunity he has with all this talent. So this is what it's about for us, creating the ecosystem. That's why we have it, so we can continuously have perspective for young people. But now I want to zoom in on the project. So the project aim of Empowered by 3x3 is really the inclusion and participation and empowerment of young people, to increase it in Europe in the age group 16 to 24 years, and using 3x3 basketball to make social impact, and doing this also in a focus for underserved areas. So this is very important to us and also to the project, to have possibilities for everyone. And we want to do this in a sustainable approach. That's why we said, okay, if you're going to another location and you're working with the local partners, what's the most important impact, where to start? The most important change to do is to make them capable to educate leaders themselves. So we approached the whole idea of scaling up with equipping the partners with the ability to educate leaders. So we began with educating facilitators, 3x3 facilitators, and also built on their local ecosystem within the project. And to give you, this was our start from the whole project. And to give you more feeling of this, these are the facilitators and our staff, how we educated them. But please get a nice view by watching our introductory video of the whole project.
3x3 Unites uses 3x3 as a tool for social change. Now we are bringing the power of 3x3 to Copenhagen, Düsseldorf, and The Hague. In these cities, we will work to increase participation, inclusion, and empowerment of talented youth in undeserved urban areas.
Als leader kan ik de persoon zijn voor de jonge kids. die ik zelf heb gemist toen ik opgroeide. Met mijn energie kan ik de kids regels en structuur bieden, waardoor ik een veilige omgeving voor ze creëer.
Hij is een relaxed guy, hij doet het super leuk met de kids op de court en daarnaast motiveert hij ze om het beste uit zichzelf te halen.
Een ander aspect in sport, waar ik ook veel energie uit haal, is het trainen van mensen en ze ook echt beter maken. Hoe vet zou het zijn als ik een van de kinderen in mijn wijk kan helpen met het realiseren van hun droom?
At the core of our work are the talented youth, our 3x3 leaders. We will educate 9 3x3 facilitators in these 3 cities. In turn, these 3x3 facilitators will educate the local youth to become 3x3 leaders. What will the local communities work on? Activation of youth, empowerment of youth, action program, lasting social and local impact, and scaling up sport for development. The power of 3x3 is coming to you.
Ik probeer die meiden een rolmodel te geven voor wat ze kunnen bereiken met het basketbal en daarnaast ook gewoon in het leven. En dat ze zien van, die heeft het ook gedaan, misschien kan ik het ook, of misschien kan ik ook zo groot dromen.
Okay, so like you saw, I'm very proud of the young people in the organization that produced this video to give you a better impression of what we're doing. I would like to identify with you shortly now the different elements of the project and then really zoom into the conversation with you guys. So Isa, if you can, the project summary. So the different elements are like, you just saw the first part is really educating 3x3 facilitators. So that are our educators, and we did that in a compact 1 week in May actually last year, where we had the 9 facilitators here and we really educated them on how to run a 3x3 leader course. That was about all the content, but also about which kind of approach we do, which is very committed to having young people in the lead. And related to this, of course, we do some monitoring on it, and we mentored them during running the course. And then we had in the 3 locations, so in The Hague, in Copenhagen, and in Düsseldorf, we had 3x3 leader courses where we educated 3x3 leaders in their local community, and afterwards they ran events to activate their neighborhood. And these 6 webinars are another part of the whole project. And we had, during the World Tour, we had our first dissemination event to share the insights we already gained. And there will be in May, there will be another dissemination event, and we will keep you tuned on that. So maybe the first thing to talk about is how we entered the project. We really saw immediately that we share a very similar spirit. But before diving into, I would like you first to really introduce you. Mažvydas, could you introduce yourself for a moment?
Thanks, Lexi. My name is Mažvydas. I'm designed in Lithuania, living in Denmark, Copenhagen. Representing Streetball Copenhagen. Appreciate that. Okay, it's better now. I'm a student of basketball and student of social development. So for me, the flux of both of these 2 paradigms is basically equals to 3x3 Unites. So I'm just very fortunate to be in a position where I can explore these social developments that you are furthering, the causes that you are furthering. Basically that's it. Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Emma, who are you?
Maxi, thanks. A great introduction. Glad to be here at the new headquarters of 3x3 Unites. Just, did the opening day yesterday, so you don't see it, but maybe you'll see other videos. It's awesome. We are looking at the code right now. So, Emre Atzer, I live in Germany, born and raised in Turkey. Then after playing a little bit basketball in the States, I came to Germany. Always played basketball since I can remember, since I'm 12. It's always been involved and mainly decided or started the project in Düsseldorf with the city Düsseldorf with the support of the city. We had a club that strictly does 3x3. So, and we do a lot of social projects, school projects, and we did that before. I knew 3x3 United actually almost from the get-go, I can say. So I've been involved, also shared a lot. But for me, it is, we want to do something social. We want to do social change. And how's the connection? And then we came together, and that was for us, I believe, it was just okay, we have the project, let's go do it kind of attitude, because it was clear for us to work together. And so I love basketball. I love 3x3. I played for the first time in 2010, and I'm fixated, if I may say so. I'm a fan. Also, a lot different than for me 5-on-5. I played 5-on-5 my whole life. My family plays, my kids play, obviously, but still 3x3 is a special place for me. So this is the connection is for me easy. In Düsseldorf, but also myself live in Bielefeld. So those both clubs are highly motivated in 3x3 and social change.
Maybe, because you already said a lot about it, but what made you jump into this project? What was your incentive to go?
Other than your call, and it is we want to make change, and I think we share a lot of common values. It is hard to know how sometimes, that's the know-how that 3x United built it. And I think one of the advantages is maybe also this, just to focus on the social change on that part has been incredible and successful also. But like you mentioned a little bit ago, your ecosystem that it goes up, that just makes sense and gives us guidance. And so it was for me right away clear that I want to be a part of it, and just because I want to learn, I want to be a part of it and improve, and that's the whole goal, I think. And that scaling up is the thing that we want to do, and it's not about location, it's not about Netherlands, Germany, or Denmark. It is about how can we improve it and how can we do it in a way that it is actually we are loyal to our values, and but at the same time we can reach as many young people as possible.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think I was very happy we came up with this project, because like you said before, I think we're very in line with our spirit. You come from the 3x3 world, all over the place, all the experience, and now that you have the same drive to make this impact for young people, I was happy, because we always knew, okay, we want to work together, and we had some meetings, and it was difficult to make it concrete. And it's something I really learned in my time here, and since 2.5 years involved with 3x3 Unites, is you need a concrete project, and then the rest forms. We're very organic growing, so I was happy we could form a project too.
Yeah, thanks to Erasmus Plus also, that actually made that, we still were probably were going slower. Now we did that, and once you do it, once you dive in, and one of the things that 3x United does is create jobs, create job opportunities, small or big, and that's actually what I took the most. You have to have people who are there, Jobify, we call it, I call it. And so we will have people who are involved, and they can be involved, and they can spend time, and they don't have to worry about just this concept that you just do a little bit of voluntary work. That is nice. You need them, and they are the spine of it all. But you also need people who are doing this part time, full time, and so on. So that's actually one thing we took, I think, from this project, and we already have that actually implemented in a short period of time. Yeah, so we talked for 7 years, and we did it in 1 year kind of thing.
Yeah, I really like that. Yeah. Thank you, Emma. I think it would be really interesting for you, because you have a very different story. Because just to give a little bit of the picture, we joined with Streetball Copenhagen as our partner, and you are one of the facilitators, now stepping into a new role. So I'm really curious as how it felt for you, why you were motivated to join this project, because I think people can relate a lot to your position. It is very abstract sometimes from the outside. So I'm super curious how you entered and why.
So basically, I'm also a young leader, if I still qualify.
Yes.
Not so young anymore, but yes, I came here a year ago, pretty much. We went through an intensive course for a week. Actually, coming in here, I wasn't entirely sure what I'm getting myself into, but I knew for a fact that having had involved myself with basketball for so many years, purely on the conceptual basis of the sport, how to put the basketball inside the hoop better, or how to judge the games. I know that there is a way bigger potential that can be developed here and opened up. And because bottom line, what it is that people are coming together, and 3x3 Unites are providing this entire baggage of knowledge, how we can benefit, how can society benefit from the fact that people come together and do this activity. And in this case, it's basketball, but it could be anything as a matter of fact. And that is what 3x3 Unites is trying to further as a cause, that any activity can be used in order to excel personal qualities, to enable youth and their good characteristics, which can then go miles and miles, and even to the cases that unknown, because honestly, the impacts that you do here, they are unmeasurable in many ways. You can see, there's a young leader and he learned this and that, and now he's doing perhaps a course or he's doing some kind of event, but actually, in reality, we don't know how far these impacts go, because maybe somebody gets inspired by somebody else, or somebody is enabled to have certain quality within himself, which at some point going to lead him to being a leader of a country or anything like that. And we can see that happening in reality in Amsterdam and also Düsseldorf in Copenhagen.
I always have to think back about the time you were here in May last year, and after the Facilitators Week, we of course made some feedback, and you said the most important point you took back then was, okay, it is possible to have this kind of work where you take all of your passion and make this and make other people benefit from it, and this is an approach to follow. And now you're sitting here, and we had and it's still not clear how to do it, but we are in the process of it, and this is what I love about it, because there is a young person who is inspired and has a high social drive and a lot of qualities, and you just step up. And we will figure out the forms. We're totally in the process of how to organize it. But you're here and you're doing it and you're living it. And I just love that fact, and I love to see that. But I would like to come back to one thing, because I'm curious about that. What was your picture when you entered? Were you, because you illustrated now a lot on what you see now, but how did it look for you when you entered? What did you expect?
What did I expect? Maybe it has to do with me personally, that normally I'm having open mind to the experiences, and I've just learned myself that expectations normally leads to disappointment. So I didn't have big expectations of all of it. So perhaps I could say that as soon as I got here, I realized that there is this incredibly potent spirit of openship, which took me, and I can still feel it. And actually, as I say it, I'm having goosebumps on my body, because it is true. The truth has certain resonance, and there is a lot of that here with 3x3 Unites. Indeed.
Thanks a lot. I would like to show you what the Maatschuders did in Copenhagen. He ran the 3x3 leader course, and just to give you a feeling of that. Maybe you can tell a little bit about the leader course, what you experienced there as a facilitator.
So basically what you can see in the video is that we have a diverse group, and actually maybe it's not fully captured here, but all throughout our leaders course we had such diversity of age and gender and everything just worked out. So actually our course was how to say it, truly representative of the label that you carry within your organization. It truly is a unifying moment and unifying event, independently of what background and what demographic conditions you come from. So for me, coming from more of an elite basketball training, coaching background, this has been somewhat of a shock. to see. And I actually ended up also, of course, playing and involve myself in these activities. So I'm not in that good shape anymore. It was actually a good level for me to be in as well. So
I love how the young people always challenge us again now when we go there.
Bottom line, we throughout the course we see young leaders develop tremendously. Really did. We saw young leaders stepping out of their shell, because at this especially at the teenage age, you're often a little bit unsure of themselves. And we found the fact that if you provide them the safe space, the safe environment, people open up and they step into their strengths. So that is one of the learnings here for sure.
Thanks a lot. Emre, can you? Yeah, so you can also read one of the experiences if you want to. We're not going to read it out, but it's from Copenhagen, one of the experience of the leaders. So I like to. You can also take a look at our website to see from a lot of leaders their stories. We will share with you too. But Emre, I would like to look with you a little bit on, because you already touched upon it a little bit. When you entered the project, your organization looked a little bit different than it looks now. Huh? Okay,
Absolutely,
we're also dedicated to capacity building, and we didn't know how will it work. How much? Can you tell how many people did you start? What's the progress?
Well, we share the same enthusiasm and also the conscious naivety to say, okay, we're gonna start. There are many things we don't know, and maybe we had a little different. We had an organization already, and we were in the building phase. We still are 3x3 Academy Düsseldorf, so we call it 3x3 Düsseldorf. LFTY is also our sponsor, who we are very strong, and the city of Düsseldorf is supporting. So it's a startup still. So we are in our third year, so it's still a startup. Things changed, and since we had an organization and you do a lot of professional sports, we have a world tour team and so on, a lot of focus there. That's the start has been. So that was going down to the school projects and to this.
You have school projects there, you have professional team, you have a basic organization, you have a sponsor, you have the city on board.
Exactly.
And you have a basic team of you running, located mostly in Bielefeld. It was at the start, it was you, Lena.
That's it, more or less. Yeah. So we have obviously our friends and environment, and it started in Bielefeld indeed, our connection, because I'm from Bielefeld, and then in 2020 city of Düsseldorf said, okay, come over to shorten up a little bit, and it started from scratch. Now we have a club, where only you play 3x3, so it's adjusted to that. Still, we take the club, German club culture, and combine it. And I think successful. We have a tournament every Friday, and which is run by Kevin Magdowski, who's also the head coach of our pros. So there is the connection is immediately there. That's also very, very helpful. But when we started, that was right at the beginning, and we started it, and it was actually so many challenges. Actually, more maybe then, and the course was not perfect and everything, and that was the whole goal. But now we are, to the end. Maybe if I can shorten up a little the year, now we have somebody who's working with us, a facilitator who will work with us almost full time, or have a dual study. She will be with us, so she will have time to develop that. So the start and that development alone, that one person can actually have that, and she will also have her leaders coming in. So this changed it quite a bit and made it, for me personally, also more tangible, so I can hold, and we're trying to make it tangible and to show it to the world and show it to the young people. These are also different target groups you have that you have to reach and you want to reach. And so I'm not going to say we are copying it in Germany, but we're doing it together. So there are a lot of elements lots of elements that we take over and we learn from, and we implement.
The things that make sense.
Absolutely. And this is nothing is the same, although it's very close. We drive 3 hours. Still, there are differences in
there are a lot
structure.
of cultural differences.
I would not call that. I don't agree fully. I don't fully agree. If you look at from a higher perspective, not really. No. But in the government structure, city structure, municipality, and so on, there are a lot of different things. And we are on the verge of a positive explosion. Yeah. And because we have the context of the city, and they know what we're doing, now. That takes time, and you have to show again, and keep doing it. That's I think the most important thing. And I'm thankful this project gave us a really kickstart, or in between.
Yeah, because I remember the first half of the year, we were like, it was a big challenge because it was, okay, I'm always over ambitious, of course, in this project too. And then the first half, really everything had to happen at the same time. We had to think, okay, where do you find the facilitators? We set up the whole program of it. You had to recruit the leaders. You wanted to have the facilitators recruit, but then the time was running too short. So you could not do too much recruitment. Now we will have a second leader course in both cities, which is easier now because you know how to run the course, you know how to find the people. So it's very different. But for me, it was also learning, okay, we need a little bit more time for our partners in the beginning of the project to establish all of that. We need more time for facilitators after they're educated, before the leader course starts. So we need to begin earlier because we are bound to the summer to have the leader courses because that's effective. For me, the most important learning in this project, I just realized today, obviously, that's how it works in my head. I know 3x3 Nights for many, many years, and I always wondered, okay, how does it really work? You know, we always say, the young people, they're entering the organization. It was so abstract for me, actually. Very, very abstract. And I remember when we talked in autumn, we had the situation where the facilitators were educated, the leader courses were run, and it was silent. Nothing was happening, if we're honest. And we said, okay, one of the things I also mistook was, okay, if we educate facilitators, then this is going to add up to the capacity of the organizations. That's what I thought. And as 3x3 Unites, we mentored the facilitators. So the content was coming from us, but we did not design the project in a way that there was local coordination from you. So the investment in the relation with the facilitators, that's key to the success of the project. And we did not formalize that. I just thought, okay, that comes by itself in a natural way. But if you have an organization, like both of them are, and a lot of people we are talking to are in, they lack capacity. So they also lack time to do this connection. So one of the things we took away from the project is, okay, you have to file for that. You have to make the project design in this. And then in autumn, we did a lot of attention to this. And now we're here, and actually in both organizations, facilitators are taking up ownership and are adding to the capacity. So I really like how it worked out. And it was vague to me, and it takes a lot of time and dedication from the organization to put time in the young people to really connect, really listen to them, and that's how it actually works. So that's important learning for me.
I agree fully, and in that sense also, you need to use the time effectively, and you cannot see it. You know, it's not tangible. It's not like a production line where you say, okay, we produce this and check, but that's the thing. So, and you get to know people in a different situation. You know, it can be very best friends, but this person might not be suitable for this project. And so that was interesting for me to take. That takes time, but that time constraint, on the other hand, helped us push forward too. So I would not say, what is the best say. Taking 3 years is probably would not help either. But still having the time to give them to digest and learn.
Yeah, but like having 2 months in November and December to set up the project and then go into the running would have been so beneficial.
Definitely. There are time constraints that we cannot control, so we have to live. That's also the flexibility we have, and it's going to happen over and over again. And
it stays,
and the city is going to come. Yeah, we have funding. You want to do it now? Then we're going to say.
And then you move everything.
You do, of course, and then we clean up, and that's actually makes the whole thing also does.
And it's fun. It's part of the culture of 3x3.
Yeah, exactly.
It's also who we are.
But it is the fact that what you're trying to further is the bottom-up approach, right?
Yes.
And it is very well exemplified in these scenarios, right? When if a facilitator decides that he wants to take a higher role, he can.
Yeah.
And you're very open to that. And that is very close to my heart also, this approach where you enable your peers to do impact and you facilitate them and give the guidance, provide the know-how, and let them do the thing. And that's what is beautiful about this project.
Yeah, great to see you. So for us, really to take the local experts and just, how can we help? How can we facilitate? And it became more and more concrete during the project. It was very abstract in the beginning, so it just, the time pressure was also important. And and also I think to realize if you step into a kind of project like this, we believe in the bottom-up approach. We believe into the local expertise and doing it in this approach, but it results in a mess also, and in being spontaneous, adjusting things, still meeting the targets, still having the focus on where you want to go. But it also means that you create with your stakeholders and your finances and everything, you create the space and the expectation at the beginning that you want to give room to learn for young people. So there will be mistakes and we will adapt in processes and everything. So it's also important when you do projects like this, or you want to do it in a way of bottom up, that you create the space for the young people to have this kind of development. Isa, can you show the next slide, please? So I would like to, we see some pictures actually from Düsseldorf and the events that took place there. And it reminds me of one thing I didn't tell about the project. Every time in a 3x3 leader course, we work towards an end event by the leaders. They own this event, they activate, and it's for them to do it. And maybe a last thing that is very important for us in those projects is that we always pay the leaders after they are educated. So they do not have to pay to get the 3x3 leader education. But if they run activities in the neighborhood, they do get paid for it because it is about creating perspective for them. I would like to sum up a little bit the positive points we already illustrated a bit and to show you. And that is maybe one of the, maybe it's a no-brainer for us, but it really works, the concept. Really see that it inspires and empowers young people, and it's great to see that in all the difficult process, this is the core for us. And it works in the different locations. And also we saw that selecting the right kind of facilitators, the right people with the right mission and vision, it's key to it. Also for the networks, and that the core idea is also working to start when you go somewhere else and you want to help to make them capable to educate 3x3 leaders themselves, because you can give inspirational workshops and everything, but if you want to make a sustainable effect, then you should empower the organizations themselves. And we see now the effects of that. I really love that. And also it was working to have a central education of the facilitators so that you can experience the whole atmosphere here, and it becomes imaginable how it looks, and it's not only on paper. And the mentoring is very important during the project. And some tips we already identified is how important it is to have capacity locally from the organizations to really engage with the young people you are attracting to your organization. So we call that local coordinators, also for your project design. That's really central to think about that, have capacity for that. That we underestimated, or I underestimated a little bit the first half year, because I'm a time optimist, and so be away, it's very intensive and good to prepare that well. And for the planning of the 3x3 leader course, that you do it in a way that the 3x3 facilitators can be more into the ownership of the recruitment in the planning of it. That it takes some, for us it's easy to set up a new course, but if you begin in a new location in a new country, today we had a meeting about the next leader course we do in the 2 locations, and it was easy. But when we talked about it in May, it was super difficult. So it takes more planning and more things to start. Something we did not touch upon yet. Also, one learning for me, because we are all very, very dedicated to really using 3x3 for social change. So we really want to have a diverse group in it. And you said you had quite a diverse group. And I'm also curious how you think about it. My learning up to now is that you cannot include the most vulnerable group in the first course if you want to use it in a way that you say they already have an idea where this could lead, or they already could take on more roles within an organization. I don't know how you feel about it.
But what exactly how do you exactly define the most vulnerable group?
Yeah, I mean that that you include people that already have some skills of project overview, that already have some experience to take on a little bit more leadership, that don't start so much from scratch. Now, disregarding ethnicity, gender, whatever, but more looking at their skills of a vulnerable group.
I see. I agree that it's a good start to have a group or perhaps have individuals that already are in a way being looked upon by perhaps their peers. It's definitely a good starting point, but for us in Copenhagen, we are still in the infant stage with all of the development. So these things, for me personally, I still need to figure out. I don't have enough experiences to compare. So we only managed to run so far one project. So I don't have sufficient basis to perhaps give you a proper answer to that. But I do see benefits in terms of, because children are so impressionate, right? So and they look up to their peers from 12 years old. They no longer look at their parents. It's most important how their peers are doing and what is going on in this environment. So without a doubt, having some young leaders who have perhaps some natural capabilities to lead would be, of course, very beneficial.
Yeah, because if we recruit new leaders, then we always look at, okay, who could be this? And some need way more mentoring and a longer way to get there. And I think for a first course where you try to establish the community, can be beneficial to have not the longest way to get there, but this is the group we're dedicated to reach also in the end. But it's something I had to realize that maybe to reach it in the end, don't be too overambitious in the beginning. And maybe some more points to reflect on is we educated 10 facilitators in the end, and we saw we can tell a lot of things, but in the end it would be great if we could do a design where they first follow or accompany a leader course so it gets concrete for them, how it looks into the practice, and then get the education. That's the ideal scenario, and we will see in future project how we can make this possible. And the recruitment I already mentioned. I think we have only a couple of minutes left. I would like to ask you, and you have more time to think because I will start with Emre. Any other points in the project so far which are important to you, which we did not touch upon in your reflection now that you would like to share?
Not really. I think we covered a lot of points, but the start is very important, and that I agree with. I agree. Actually, I'm not saying do not include the most vulnerable group. I would formulate it from the other side, saying, okay, find people who you maybe trust, maybe you see potential in, but they are not too much, full time in a basketball club, for example, as a coach. If you're a full time coach, you have to coach kids, and this is great, and it's awesome. And you need to see some vision, and you don't have to be convincing to people. So if you have to convince somebody to do more, that goes for almost anything, I assume. But if you have to convince too much, then this is maybe not the right person, or the right time for that person. And so I'll always needs to be easy access and saying, okay, you want to do it, let's try it out, and be open to failure, to make mistakes. It's perfectly fine if somebody says, hey, I really don't want to do it, and who am I to tell them, you have to finish it now, because I didn't know what to expect. So how should they know what to expect? So those are the things that the flexibility you have to bring and be cool with it. And so I think it's going to help. If you want to have them in the long run, it's going to be very important to have that kind of relationship with those people. That was a challenge for us in the beginning, and we didn't know who to do. And coming to Amsterdam for 1 week, it sounds a lot of fun, but it's still a big commitment. Alone, that is a challenge, and doing it in the short time. So you cannot get the people maybe you planned and they want to, but they cannot, and so on. So these are the things that if you do a long planning and seeing beforehand. So we did not see, I never seen a leader course before, to be honest, before that thing. And so how am I going to describe them? And so and now it's going to change, because it's like a positive snowball effect again. then you know it, I know it, I can talk about it, and Petra is working with us hopefully, and she knows that she did it, so it's not so hard for her to explain it and give the points.
Experience firsthand, so yeah.
And patience.
Yeah.
At the beginning,
not our strong point.
No, really. We are both, I think, we know each other quite well now, and so it's the patience. You have to wait, you have to see, and you have to ask again and do it again. It's not a linear process, and it's sometimes. And now this meeting is just like a huge jump again, and then you go, and there's another jump. So you need to be aware of that, and don't stress it out too much. And that will be my suggestion. And
nice.
If anybody has questions, and
we're all here.
We are all here, so it's gonna be easier, I think, as we go, and will be still a lot of work. Still, that's also,
of course,
but it will be easier to at least communicate.
Thanks a lot, Emre. Manchulis, what is it for you?
For me, I got to realize in this project that even when people are talking about the same things, often we still carry this little universe on our shoulders, and even if we speak the same words, it seems sometimes that we actually have a completely different picture in our heads. So it's more of a question perhaps to us, like how do we actually align these visions, because just seeing it on the paper and reading it is sometimes not enough. So how do we actually put this resonance in between all of the parties involved? Because I believe that this is where the true strength of every project lies, this really enhancing this connectivity between parties and really working towards the same goal, not only talking about the same goal. So how to make that happen, that's a question.
I think it stays a challenge, but the most important thing I learned in it is that we just begin with something small, and then I need to let go, and then things happen very organically, like I'm already described a lot. So if you would have asked me where we are after our transnational meeting today, I would have never guessed that we are as far as we are now. So I think there are the next steps for practical pilots to do in Copenhagen, practical things to do in Düsseldorf, which will clarify things and make things work. So it's really working on small projects, small experiments, and just go with it. And new connections come, and then include this. So we have to begin and go. And then sometimes it just comes a big boom, and sometimes it goes slow, and we just adapt with the pace. So it's about starting and not knowing everything up front, because I like to know why and where we go, but this is an organic process and you have to commit to it. It takes sometimes a lot, sometimes patience, something unknownness, but I think we are on a very good way. Thank you so much, Manchulis. Thank you so much, Iser, and thank you so much for listening in. I hope you took something out of it, and very, very happy that you were our guest today. Please spread it, please feel